and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of In Case of Emergency. So yeah, without further ado, let us jump right in, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Okay. What happened to it containing the secrets of the universe? Not unless there are secrets in this crap. He turns the open face of the book, though it's facing you. It's covered in either arcane sigils or real-life math symbols. The scrawlings are so illegible it's hard to tell the difference. What? Was this written by a doctor? No, it's literally gibberish. I thought it might be a cipher or a different language, but some of the pages are just shitty drawings. He flips to a few pages as example. You wondered what a shitty drawing in an arcane textbook might look like, but it really does look like a kindergartner's coloring book. Maybe that means something. What, like the magic was in us all along? Was the friends we made along the way? You're surprised to see Luke looking visibly agitated. Not even arguing with Cedric had rattled him this much. Why is this so important to you? Don't you get it? They call it magic for a reason. It's not supposed to be a science, it's not supposed to make sense. But imagine a world where it did. Imagine if you could reliably predict how it affected every molecule. I know you're not a science guy, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Real life isn't obligated to make sense, but fantasy has to. We believe in fake stuff when we understand the logic behind it. Logic? Like the logic of punching a tree to get a cube of wood? Exactly. It's just, fantasy's supposed to make sense in a way that real life doesn't. You put in the effort, you get XP and level up. There's a leveling curve that's plotted algorithmically. Did you know that you have to make connections to get a job in real life? Nothing is stopping me from writing team player on my resume, and nobody knows how anything works. You're upset that the real world doesn't have a clear system of linear progression and graspable mechanics? Do you ever get the feeling that life is a test, and you're always at the risk of choosing the wrong answers? Yes. Yeah, all the time. There's no rules for any of this. And don't get me started on people. Yeah, fuck people. Don't get me started. Yeah, people suck. If only they could be more like you. That makes Luke laugh. What could go wrong? A planet full of hairy little men who can't drive. Some people are into that. Like hobbit fetishists? Ha! I'm serious though, I think you're a pretty cool guy. If all this pans out, we should hang out again, do something fun together. You mean, if all this pans out, we don't doom an entire world to a future of non-existence? If we save the world, we at least deserve to go to one of those kids' fun centers. I want to be served pizza by minimum wage employees dressed up as cartoon characters. Seriously. If that's what you want, let's do it. Unfortunately, I've been kicked out of every establishment in a 50-mile radius. Those places are like casinos. If you win too many tickets at skee-ball, security drags you out. Also, they're run by the mob. Is he letting you down gently or just fucking with you? Sorry, it's an inherited trait. You learned deflection from your parents? No, from them I got my luscious head of hair and lack of tolerance for lactose. You're doing it again. Cut me some slack. You know how to be sincere? Sometimes I miss my dad. A lot. Uh-huh. I regret some of the things I said to him, but I mostly regret the stuff I never got a chance to say. That doesn't count, because you're sharing it to prove a point. I'm bearing my heart to you, man. Is there anything that you can take seriously? Let's go back and see what else. Nobody knows how. Nope, but that's only because nobody knows how to be real. So you only care if other people are doing it. What if other people were jumping off of bridges? What would you do then? Whatever, you know what I mean. Not hard to make the leap that some topics are out of Luke's emotional wheelhouse. So, what are you going to do about that book of yours? Let's see. You got no command? You want me to be real with you just to prove a point? Okay, when you put it that way, you shake your head. It's not hard to make the leap some topics. Alright, so... No. I'm sincere about a lot of things. Movies, dinner, the ratio of crust to center on a brownie. The correct answer being 1-0, because the crust of anything is gross. I don't even have the words to describe how wrong you are. I don't think we can be friends anymore. Alright, so we'll just do that one. Luke opens his mouth to cut in. Other than your book, he shuts his mouth. You get the feeling he's either physically incapable of expressing a real emotion or he's so stubborn he refuses to. The difference between the two seems to get slimmer with every moment. You know what? Forget it. It's not hard to make the leap that some topics are out of Luke's emotional wheelhouse. So, what are you going to do about that book of yours? I don't know. I mean, Think about what I'd be giving up if this really did have the secrets of the universe. I could probably live forever with this stuff. I'd be invincible. I can't imagine anyone you'd be more terrified of becoming all-powerful. It's not so much that you're worried about the well-being of other people, though you definitely are, but you suspect that Luke would just use omnipotence as an excuse to deal with anything other than his own life. But then again, it's also the only thing he seems to be really passionate about. Keep at it. Keep trying, I guess. Maybe if you look hard enough, the book will reveal all the answers to your problems. I knew you'd understand. At this rate, I'll be self-actualized in no time. Luke sighs, but not in an unfriendly way. He runs his hand through his hair and shakes his head like he can cast off the bad thoughts. Anyway, thanks for your help, Kieran, but I've got some bedtime reading to do. There's a big day ahead of us. Talk to you later. Luke makes a point of turning away from you, tapping his fingers along the leather cover of his book. You don't think there's anything else you can offer him. After a moment, you rise to your feet and trudge back the way you came. Who do you talk to next? Wes. You march deeper into the woods, foliage crunching under your feet. Wes has set up shop by a burbling creek. His pants are rolled up to his knees as he wades through the water, shield in hand. Hey, how's it going? Just cleaning my shield. It got dirty earlier in the scuffle. He frowns as he crouches lower to the water and scrubs at one particular square of dirt. It doesn't seem to come off, even as his forearms flex with the effort. That's really in there. You might need soap for that. Wes turns to you and raises an eyebrow. Left my bar at home, sorry. It's fine. I'll get it eventually if I keep at it. He wets a corner of his shirt and wipes the spot in firm circles, like he's trying to remove a particularly tricky stain. It doesn't look like he's getting anywhere. I don't think this is working. It's just some dirt. You sure you don't want to do something else? Yeah, I'm sure. Wes doesn't look up as he speaks. He picks up a flat rock from the stream and brandishes it like a sponge. You sure you're doing okay? Wes sighs. He gives the shield a few more swipes with his thumb before returning it to his side. Just stressed out. I've had a lot on my mind. The guy we ran into in Convivience? Wes grimaces and shivers, the fur around his neck fluffing in response. It seemed like you knew him. Yeah, he was a friend. Just a friend? We slept together. It wasn't serious. I think he might have misread things. Besides, I'm not exactly in a position to be with anyone right now. Isn't that like self-awareness or whatever? Anyway, the apocalypse isn't helping either. There's a whole world counting on us. It's hard to imagine the scale that Wes describes. You'd only seen the smallest fraction of the world before being asked to save it. If we fail, we just go back home, right? Back to normal? Admittedly, normalcy is the last thing you want to return to. Ow. Your normal life sucks. Wes seems to agree, because he anxiously slides the ring around his finger between his knuckles. It's the same one you noticed when you were sparring at the very beginning of your time here. Yeah, back to normal. Which you don't want? Sometimes talking to Wes is like pulling out a string of spaghetti stuck in your throat. You get the feeling you should take it out before someone chokes, but if you pull too fast, the line will snap. I told you that I'm supposed to take over my dad's company. Well, there's more to it. There's an arranged marriage that goes along with it. I'm engaged. A lady in his life to care for him. For him to care for. That's the mark of a man. A what? I don't even have the time to unpack the misogyny and heterosexism of that. Something tells me you're not happy about this arranged marriage. I know it's what I have to do. I know it's what I'm supposed to do, and it's what I'm expected to do. There are a lot of people counting on me. But what do you want to do? I want to run off to a tropical tax haven where I drink pina coladas and have great sex in my island mansion every night. Touché. I was thinking more along the lines of, if you had the right to self-determination... What's a right? What would you do in my position? Oh. Obviously, the right answer is always in the middle. I think you can't keep living your life for your family, but you also can't just do whatever you want. Do what's right for you, not for anyone else. You make it sound so easy. Wes frowns as he watches the creek burble by. Anyway, I'll think about it. It's not like I have to decide right now. Thanks, Kieran. You've always been a good friend. Whatever happens tomorrow, I'll have your back. Wes picks up his shield again, and you take it as your cue to leave. Leaving the river behind, you make your way back to camp. Who do you talk to next? Cedric. You settle across from Cedric by the campfire, where he squatted on an overturned log, on a turned-over log. He He absently feeds the flames with twigs he pulls from the dry ground. You grab a handful of leaves damp with condensation and toss them into the fire, sending up a plume of smoke that makes you cough and hack. Right, wet leaves equals smoke. I forgot about that. They taught us that at overnight camp, remember? Did they? All I remember was being locked in this intense psychological warfare with a mosquito colony. You don't remember? After they told us about wet leaves causing smoke, you decided you were going to smoke the mosquitoes out on the campsite. Huh, that does sound like me. You roped me into it too, and we created so much smoke that the rangers thought there was a forest fire. The counselors made us give a presentation on fire safety after that. Hey, I wasn't trying to get us into trouble. A kid had an asthma attack. You have to admit, it does sound like you. Cedric flashes you a rare, familiar smile that makes you abruptly nostalgic. What happened to us? What do you mean? Nothing happened. We barely talked when we started college. It's been like 4 years since we've talked like this. Cedric sighs, staring into the crackling flames of the makeshift fire pit. I don't know. I've thought about it a lot, and we were always pretty different, you know? You were loud and fun and the leader, and I was always just trying to keep up. Yeah, that's why we work so well together. We balance each other out. Cedric huffs out of his nose, a weak smile at the corner of his lips. We couldn't exist without the other. And didn't you ever wonder who we might be on our own? No way. Never. I thought we were going to be biffles for life. Best friends for life? Best friends for life? Yeah, we'd get old and play bingo and take our insulin shots together. Huh. It did seem like that, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Though if I'm being honest, I was hoping you would contest that insulin bit. I don't know if I'll have the insurance to live with diabetes. Cedric almost smiles as he rolls his eyes. So, did you ever think about what it would be like on our own? Yeah, actually. I thought about it a lot towards the end of high school. I thought college was going to be a fresh start for me, and it was. I found this secret world and met all these other people. I got to be my own person, and I liked who that person was. I realized I didn't want to go back to who I used to be. Who used to be, with you. It doesn't sting any less, but it has been 4 years. You can't deny that you changed too. Besides, you have cool new friends and a purpose now. Sorry if I made things tense between us. I wasn't expecting you to back in my life, and I felt like I was being pushed out of the one thing I had to myself. I understand. It's fine, man. It's fine, man. I would have felt the same way. What happens now? I've been thinking, last night, when you let me keep the Bozja sword. Just because something was harmful, that doesn't mean we have to throw it out entirely. I don't want to pretend that we were never friends, because that's not true. But we also can't go back to the way things were. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, and I acknowledge your feelings. If that's how you feel, then okay. Cedric nods once in affirmation. Yeah. You sit in silence and stare at the fire between you two. Summer camp feels like a lifetime ago, like a story you heard rather than an experience you lived. So, I should get back to preparing for the final leg of our journey. Good luck, Kieran. You can take a hint. You trudge away from the campfire, feeling its flames licking at your back until the heat recedes. Who do you talk to next? Remus. Kieran, it's good to see you here. Will you join me in scouting this cave? I could use an extra hand. Lead the way. You nod and fall into step behind him. Remus takes the lead, cape fluttering behind him as he pads into the cave's entrance. Inside, the stone of the cavern walls radiate cold. The air is damp, and the smell of petrichor fills your nose. The stalagmites cast black, spire-like shadows that stretch across the floor, reaching for your feet like you'd imagine the monsters under your bed might. At least you're finally getting time with just the two of you. Whoa, are these crystals? Offshoots of the heart at the mountain's center. You might compare them to veins or arteries. You've been here before? Yes, I have. Multiple times, in fact. His expression goes dark as he seems to recall something. I find that history has a tendency to repeat itself. Today, we'll use that fact to our advantage. Repeat itself? How long is the history of this place? The history of Peregrine? Very long, of course. There are centuries to it. He scratches his chin with a clawed finger as he mutters to himself. But relative to our own existence, it has been around an eternity. Plenty of time to grasp the cycles the world goes through. Cycles? Cycles such as the beginning and the ending of things. The world threatens to end, and we are to give it a new lease on life. That doesn't sound easy. Not at all. Remus opens his mouth to respond, but the walls begin to crumble around you. The shadows on the ground go longer, reaching towards you, until you realize they're not shadows at all. It's... Void! Run! Remus pushes you forward with a hand on your back, ushering you down a corridor that winds deeper into the cave. This way! You feel the entire mountain sway back and forth as you leap over a strip of shadow, tendrils snaking across the floor. Your knees protest as you land with each step on the stone floor, forced to lift your feet as soon as you hit the surface. There's no time to catch your breath. A pebble bounces off of your forehead, then another. A crack spiderwebs across the ceiling above you, and you realize you have mere seconds before it collapses on top of you. Hurry! With a final burst of energy, you push yourself the only way you can go forward. Rounding a corner as you hear rocks striking ground behind you. Shit! You dive for the earth, coughing as the dust rises around you in clouds. Your joints are scraped, your clothing is scuffed, and you're sure you twisted your ankle at one point. It pulses painfully when you try to put your weight on it. But most importantly, you're alive. Behind you, a cave-in blocks your exit. At least there's no sign of the void here. Kieran, are you alright? Remus's hand nestles between your shoulder blades to steady you. I'm okay, thanks. Remus gently brushes the dust from your shirt. Let me see. What the hell just happened? An avalanche, it would seem. The void has disturbed the cave system. Where are the others? What about the others? How are we going to get back to them? Remus gently brushes the dust from your shirt. We should attempt to get in touch with the rest of the group. As he says this, you can hear the sound of approaching voices and footsteps. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!